Alright, what's up, you floopers? It's me again. So I've got a bunch of requests to do a review of Metamorphosis. It's a little bit longer. It's almost 9 minutes long. So I'll try not to stop too much and talk about it, but you know, I'm gonna have to here every once in a while. Um, so the thing about this song is that, and this isn't like some kind of boo-hoo sob story, but like this song's all about depression. It's all about depression, like how it just kind of masks itself. You'll be going along doing good and stuff, and then before you know it, you realize that this big ball of shit has been hiding in plain sight this entire time, and then it descends so subtly that you don't even know that it's happening until you're already, you know, balls deep in it. But it's also kind of another take on that, like, if depression had a physical form, um, and it was like stalking something, like stalking you, which is kind of terrifying, but that's kind of how it feels sometimes. So there's kind of like a hunting element to this song, like you're being hunted, or you're looking at you're looking through the eyes of the hunter, which would depression at this point. So the beginning of the song is kind of everything's good, everything's groovy, it's all, whatever. So here we go. And I don't know that noise, that sound, that basic distorted effect or sound that I use in like all of my songs. I'm not trying to make it my signature like sound. I just love it. I love it. I can't get enough of it. I have to. I have to have it. I have to hear it. I have to use it. It can do everything that I want it to do. So there it is. And it's all over this song. So you can kind of like the first about 30 seconds or so have been kind of like you imagine yourself waking up in the morning, and yeah, no, it's not it's not bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, but you're up, you're getting ready, you're doing your thing. So there's nothing really like super depressing about this. Maybe a little somber, maybe a little bit of a melancholy feel to it, but for the most part, it's kind of upbeat. You're kind of, I mean, I don't know if that's how you guys see it or hear it, but to me, it's you're handling your business, going about your day, and nothing seems wrong at all. same time, if you're looking at this through the eyes of an emotion like depression as a predator, as a hunter, then that deep bass, that blah, 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 ba-dum, that's kind of like targeting, honing in on prey and just getting close without them even realizing that it's happening. Until seeing that string that kind of floats a little bit in the background, it's a tiny bit more emotional than it has been, but still nothing like, full-fledged panic. Oh God, I've got to, handle this feeling. And then you'll see here in a little bit, the beat comes back in and seems like everything's fine. But at the same time, if you're looking at this through the perspective of the emotion depression as something that's stalking you, then that string can kind of almost be like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like in the old cartoons when smells would have like that little trail, and then someone would sniff it and they'd kind of float with it like towards the source of the aroma. You could kind of look at it that way, I guess. Now, still upbeat if you're looking at it through your own perspective. If you're looking at it through the perspective of the emotion, now this is almost like savoring the moment right before the feast. There's that initial melody, and then the melody starts harmonizing. Like, oh God, this is going to be the most delicious feast of my life. And now this is like aggressively like coming after you. Like if you think about like the Little Red Riding Hood kind of wolf as more adult themed and more sinister, that bass line is kind of like being stalked by that wolf. And now this is kind of the part where realization sets in that maybe this little jaunt through the woods wasn't the best of ideas. Maybe all this kind of confidence in today being the greatest of days was a little short-sighted, because right in the background and coming to the foreground is kind of that first initial oh man kind of feeling. but it's still upbeat. So you see, at the same time as that's kind of what I was going for. That's why I called it Metamorphosis, because the change is so gradual, and there, even that instrument that just came in doesn't in itself seem sad or depressing in any way, unless you combine it with everything else that's going on in the song. So far, the song isn't sad, but it does kind of sound like it could be sad. So it's changing, it's morphing, it's metamorphosizing, or whatever. That's not even a word. That's not even a word. Now this is where it gets aggressive. This is where the wolf and the Little Red Riding Hood have kind of, that's a stupid analogy. I'm not going to use that anymore. But this is kind of where, like, the depression and the fight against it are kind of tangled up. Not really wrestling, but more of a dance. It's more of a molding and like a melding of the two, because it's not something that you are dominated by. It's something that just slowly seeps in. It just slowly seeps in and becomes a part of you. And that's kind of what's happening here. I shouldn't say that. For me, most of the time, it's not this dominating, like, oh, I'm so depressed kind of feeling. It's more of a slow realization that, oh man, I don't think that I've been happy for the last week, and maybe that's why I don't have any energy. Maybe that's why I can't get out of bed. Maybe that's why, whatever happens. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. It's different for everybody, is what I'm saying. There's that basic distorted again. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with it. It's so versatile. Now that's the aggressive kind of emotion right there. Showing its ugly face, like, just by itself. And then coming up is the attempt to incorporate that into an, kind of a normal, not so aggressively depressing state, I guess. But as you can see, that's a lot harder to do than it is. It's easier said than done. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Because this is where the depression is just like beating and beating and beating your ass. But that's kind of like, instead of fighting against it, that's kind of just at that very end part when the comes in. It's not so much a fight against it, it's more of an acceptance of it, and therefore the two, or the multitude of emotions can all, I don't know, kind of live in tandem with each other instead of vigorously fighting against each other. And then, like, this is, so if you want to look at this whole song, it's kind of the course of a day. Not events happening throughout the day, but feelings happening throughout the day. And it kind of ends where it started. Started out with this little thing, and then it kind of just, and then now it's back to that little thing again. So that's that one. Gosh, I didn't mean for that to be so personal, but I guess it is. And that's not something I can help. So there's some honesty for you, you floobs. Some honesty all up in your face. Anyway, next time, well, hopefully you enjoyed that. If not, the next one I'm going to do is going to be another madness themed one. Those ones tend to be a little bit more on the insane side, so they might be, I don't know, a little more entertaining for you guys. But that's what Metamorphosis, that's the motive behind that song, is gradual change into something else. Obviously, I mean, if you look up the definition of metamorphosis, that's not what it is, but it's close, I think, right? Maybe. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later, and thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much. All right, bye.